Chapter 1. 4 weeks before. She kept all the impetuosity of her nature carefully concealed within her. She possessed supreme composure and an apparent tranquility that masked terrible transports. Émile Zola, Thérèse Raquin. A piercing scream cut through the night. Ripped from her sleep, Sarah sat up, gasping for air. Her heart was pounding in her chest, and her breathing was fast and hot. Where was she? She scanned the darkness, searching for clues. She had no idea. Her silk nightgown clung to her body, and the sheets felt moist with sweat. As Sarah's eyes adjusted to the faint light coming in through the window, the room returned to her, and she knew where she was. Home. Her home. 1122 Park Avenue in Manhattan. She felt a flood of relief. That dream. Again. Then came the realization that the neighbors, no, the whole building, must have heard her scream. Her heart contracted in shame. She looked over to find her husband's sleeping shape beside her. Eric usually awoke to the slightest noise, but no, there he was, breathing peacefully beside her. It must have been a silent scream she'd uttered, a silent nightmare she'd endured. It was the worst kind of nightmare, in a way. The kind that tortured only her. Silently, Sarah slipped out of bed and out of her nightgown, letting it drop to the floor. She tiptoed to the window and opened it. Dawn was on the horizon, the New York sky dark and heavy. A sudden gust of wind blew in, scattering grains of soil from her plants onto the Persian carpet. She needed air, despite her shivering. She couldn't wait to get out of the apartment. A shadow uttered across the window in the building across from hers, and she felt observed, vulnerable. She looked down and remembered she was naked. Her cheeks arded hot, and she quickly stepped back from the window. She snuck into the bathroom and stood for a while in darkness, letting the dream's last reverberations still within her. That dream, the dark figure hovering over the woman, her and him together, embracing, grabbing at each other, and then there was the sound of a gunshot, or something like it. She knew exactly who they were, Eric and Juliet. Images of them haunted Sarah ever since she had found pictures of Juliet on Eric's phone. When she had confronted him about it, he had brushed it off and had said that she had sent them by mistake. Of course, she didn't believe him, but she had no real proof. In the dream, Sarah was always just a spectator to them, fear rising in every part of her body until her scream inevitably woke her up. It was uncontrollable, irrational, the simple fear of having absolutely nowhere to go. How could she do this, time and again, fall asleep and wake up in the same place, and yet never know where she was? How could she feel lost, trapped in her own home? She icked on the light and found herself in the mirror. Her blonde hair was ruffled. Tired eyes looked back at her. Wrinkles were forming there, deant of the creams and oils with which she tried to keep them at bay. She touched her face, almost unsure she was real. The creases deepened under her thumb. She knew that others saw her differently than she saw herself. She had been told she was magnetic, youthful, that she was living the good life. At times, she still believed it. She took a deep breath and shook her head. She opened the medicine cabinet and took out her morning pills. Prozac, 20 milligrams, 2 in the morning, daily. She thought a moment, then took one. Shutting the mirrored door, she washed the pill down with a swallow of water and looked at her weary gaze. It was the dream that made her feel so unlike herself. It frightened her beyond reason to be made to feel so powerless, to wake up confused in a cold sweat. In the daylight, she was different. There were good reasons, rationales behind the things she felt.